destroying people's home there. What is the next course of action that the people are mulling there? Because the Supreme Court, like I said, has already given their verdict. So are they willing to knock the Supreme Court's doors again, or are they willing to file a petition? What is the next course of action that's going to be taken?
Well, they definitely are. They're not only willing. Every village that I've been to, they are showing me papers. They have filed several RTIs, not just one, not just 2, 3, 4, 5 RTIs, that all of them they've filed just to seek some answers. Why, with that, on the basis of what legality are these people running mines in Aravalli Hills near so close to their homes? Or what are the other requirements which they clearly were showing us that, see, these are the requirements which are required, but these mining these mining companies or these crushers, they're not fulfilling them. Then we want answers, ma'am, that how have they been given a license? Why is their lease not being revoked or not being suspended for that matter? So let them actually come. And they also filed a petition in the Supreme Court asking to reconsider this decision. So they've not only done this right now, there were several RTIs that we have seen that were filed years ago, because this entire thing that we are covering right now, it predates this new decision. It predates this new acceptance of this new definition of Aravalli Hills.
Right.
The people have definitely come on the roads. The people are definitely protesting, and they're looking to find a recourse for this entire scene. Back to you.
Right, Shambhavi, thank you very much for keeping us updated with that story. Ladies and gentlemen, we got you what the centre had to say. Let's now tell you what the state government of Rajasthan has to say. This is Rajasthan State Finance Commission Chairman Arun Chaturvedi, who's spoken on the issue. Listen into what is Rajasthan State's take on this issue.
पिछले दिनों राजस्थान के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री अशोक गहलोत जी ने 100 मीटर के दायरे में माइनिंग की अनुमति के विषय के ऊपर ट्वीट करके इस न्यायिक प्रक्रिया के विषय को राजनीतिक चर्चा का विषय बनाने का काम किया। मुझे बड़ा आश्चर्य होता है कि खुद गहलोत जी ने 2002 में जब वो मुख्यमंत्री थे, उनकी सरकार थी, तब इस विषय के ऊपर सहमति देने का काम किया था। आज उसी विषय को वो फिर एक बार खड़ा करके ठंडे पानी में पत्थर मार करके उछालने का काम कर रहे हैं। हम सब जानते हैं कि वर्तमान केंद्र की सरकार और राजस्थान की सरकार, उन्होंने लगातार अरावली के क्षेत्र को प्रोटेक्शन के लिए लगातार काम किए। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने किसी प्रकार का आदेश अभी तक नहीं दिया है। केंद्र सरकार को इस विषय को लेकर के एक विस्तृत कार्य योजना बना करके पेश करने का है। उससे पहले इस प्रकार के विषय को खड़ा करके राजनीति करने का किसी प्रकार का स्थान नहीं। इसलिए सरकार खुद संवेदनशील है, इस विषय को जानती है, महत्ता को जानती है। अरावली का हम सब के जीवन में बहुत बड़ा महत्व है। उसका संरक्षण, प्रोटेक्शन, प्रिजर्वेशन, उस विषय के ऊपर लगातार काम करें।
All right, from Rajasthan, let's now tell you what's happening in the state of Karnataka. The Karnataka Congress power tussle has only deepened as leadership change buzz has grown within the ruling Congress. In a surprise move, DK Shivakumar met with former Minister KN Rajanna at a private guest house in Bengaluru, and this happened today. The closed-door talks have fueled speculation about a possible shift in dynamics within the party. Rajanna, remember, has previously opposed DK Shivakumar's rise in the party. So does this mean then the closed-door meeting could result in a new change in the chief ministerial position in Karnataka? Here's the report on that.
As the tussle for CM post rages on in Karnataka, Siddaramaya's close aide KN Rajanna's meeting with Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivakumar has created quite a stir. The buzz is all about a possible shift in Karnataka's top post, with the state budget looming. DK Shivakumar's meeting with Rajanna, who has backed Siddaramaya, has added fuel to the fire. Deputy CM DK Shivakumar has maintained that he met Siddaramaya's close aide Rajanna out of friendship and party work. On the other hand, reacting to the visit, KN Rajanna said that DK Shivakumar had met him as the party president. Siddaramaya's aide Rajanna made it clear that there will be no change in his stance. No matter what DK Shivakumar tries, he will continue to support CM Siddaramaya.
ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವರು ಹೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿನವರೆಗೂ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವ್ರು ಇರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಈಗಲೂ ಅದೇ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವ್ರ ಪರನೇ.
ಡಿ ಕೆ ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು.
ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೂ ಈವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ಐ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬೈ ದಟ್. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಚೇಂಜ್.
The drama unfolds as DK Shivakumar insists an agreement on the leadership change exists, while Siddaramaiah continues to be in the denial mode. Meanwhile, Karnataka Home Minister Dr. G. Parmeshwara urged the High Command to resolve the crisis before the budget.
ನಾವು ಈಗ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಹರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮುಂದೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಅಂತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವರು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ
ಬಜೆಟ್ ಒಳಗೆ
ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೂ ಗೊಂದಲ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಈಗೇನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅವರೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಇವರೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ. ಅವು ಕೂಡ ಬರದ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವೇನು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕು.
The infighting has raised concerns over Congress's prospects in Karnataka. With MLAs weighing in, the party's next move could decide the state's political future.
And moving on, Raukara police have now busted a massive fake lottery syndicate. 4 men have been arrested. Over rupees 25 lakh cash has now been seized and a full counterfeit ticket printing setup is recovered. Here's the story.
In a major crackdown, Raurkela police have busted a fake lottery racket operating under plant-side police station limits. Acting on a tip-off, multiple raids were carried out across the city on December 20th. Police recovered counterfeit lottery tickets, incriminating material and rupees 25,37,260 rupees in cash. The accused were manufacturing fake lottery tickets and distributing them through agents across Raurkela. 4 men have been arrested in the case. Police seized 8 mobile phones, 5 notebooks, a desktop computer, printer and other material used to print the fake tickets. A case has been registered under sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and Lotteries Regulation Act. The police are now tracking other members of the network and probing the full extent of the racket.
Coming in, a high alert has been issued in Jammu and Kashmir as police has recovered a telescope of assault rifle in Jammu. The recovery has been made in an area that is close to the NIA headquarters. Extremely tense situation there that's beginning to creep in Jammu. A high alert has been issued, and amid that, Jammu and Kashmir police had recovered a telescope of assault rifle in Jammu. The recovery has been made in an area that is close to NIA headquarters. Chinese manufacturer telescope has been recovered. We learned the telescope has now been recovered by Jammu and Kashmir police. The senior police officials have now rushed to the spot to investigate the case. Gursimran is joining us live on the broadcast from Jammu on that. Gursimran, this is a big story that's come to fore. An assault rifle has been recovered. We learned that it is Chinese made. What is the investigation? What is the investigation proving so far in the case? Where was it recovered from and who does it belong to?
See, it's a couple of minutes ago that a recovery has been made. This is a telescope of an assault rifle that has been recovered from the Sidra area. And this is very close to the NIA headquarters and the headquarters of the security wing of Jammu and Kashmir police, because here you will see that it is exactly on the opposite side that the recovery has been made. These are the headquarters of the security in Jammu and also the NIA headquarters. They are at a distance of roughly 500 to 700 meters from each other from where the recovery has been made. We are told that the team from the Sidra police station and the Nagrota police, they have made this recovery, and this what it seems for now that this was a telescope, a Chinese made telescope that has been recovered from the area very close to the NIA headquarters. So what it was doing there, that is being probed, but due to the alertness of the Jammu and Kashmir police, this has been recovered, and now the senior officials have also rushed to the spot, that is to the Sidra police post, so that they can actually look into what this telescope was and how it was to be used, because usually the telescope is used to enhance the firing area of of this weapon so that they can have a clear shot at the target. This has been recovered. It is yet to be actually seen that whether this was another recovery has also been made or whether it was a standalone recovery that has been done, because we are yet to get an official word from the Jammu and Kashmir police. But what we are picking up from our sources that the Sidra police has done this recovery very close to the NIA headquarters in Jammu. This telescope has been recovered and it enhances the visibility of the shooter by 300 to 500 meters. That is what we have got to know after speaking to those who actually deal with these kind of telescopes. So this recovery is really very concerning, and that too coming at a time when the entire country, especially Jammu and Kashmir, has been placed on the high alert amid regular threats from across the border and the input suggesting a possible terror strike on the eve of New Year, in which the planning has already been done and the Lashkar groups are already waiting to sneak in into the Indian territory. So now this recovery has been made, and as we speak, the senior officials are rushing to the spot.
Right, Gursimran, like you said, this was a Chinese manufactured rifle, and you said that there are imprints of Pakistani terrorists also that could have been involved. So can we then say that this was a Pakistan-China nexus who were trying to infiltrate and cross our territory?
See, with specific to this case, it will be too early to say that whether it was a terror plot or how this thing has come to this very place. No doubt this is a security concern, but since the investigation is in too early stage to comment, because we had tried to speak to the senior officials in the Jammu police also, but at present they are not in a position to share anything with regards to this recovery. Yes, a telescope has been recovered, and this was a Chinese telescope from a Chinese manufacturer. These are the roughly details that we have been able to gather so far, but now it is, since this is a matter of investigation and thus includes recovery from very crucial areas. So this is from the NIA headquarters and close to the security headquarters in Jammu. So every angle is being looked into, and how this got into this very place, that is worked upon by the police.
Right. Thank you very much, Gursimran, for getting us those details. Quickly moving across to all the other stories that we're tracking. This is Bharat in 1 minute. A wanted criminal with a bounty of rupees 50,000 on his head was killed in a police encounter. During patrolling, police tried to stop two men on the motorcycle. The men opened then fire on the police party. In counter-firing, one of the criminals got shot. National capital has woken up to thick blanket of toxic smog, reducing visibility and causing discomfort to residents across the city. Several parts of the city experienced a dense haze, with pollution levels remaining alarmingly high. 4 criminals were injured and 1 accused was arrested following a police operation in Balia after the suspects opened fire at the police. Police is now informed that a detailed investigation is ongoing and a strict legal action will be taken against all those individuals involved in the crime. All right, with that, it's time for us to slip into our short break. But after the break, getting you that exclusive interview where the Epstein file survivor has now spoken to Republic, giving out all the details. Getting you that exclusive interview coming up after a short break.
Our pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, ये तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, मसाला केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला। MDH।
We just now felt this entire mountain shiver because there are blasts.
Ladies and gentlemen, for years, the name Jeffrey Epstein has been a chilling symbol of unchecked power and unimaginable trauma. He was a man who preyed on thousands of vulnerable young women. He trafficked them under the guise of opportunity, and all of this while being surrounded by some of the world's most influential figures. His crimes didn't just happen in isolation. They shattered lives, they silenced voices, and they left scores of families searching for justice that often felt out of reach. But viewers, the good thing is, beyond every headline, there are brave individuals who have endured the unthinkable, but now they are reclaiming their stories. Joining me today is one such young woman who has experienced this pain firsthand. I'm very happy to welcome Marina Licada, who joins us live from the United States. Marina, thank you so much for speaking with Republic Media Network.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. My first question to you is, what has made you go public with your story?
Well, when I first broke my silence in September, which was, I have to say, one of the toughest things, it was definitely in behalf for my survivor sisters, especially Virginia Guffrey, who's no longer here with us, and of course my daughter, who we have to, keep on representing our culture and our generation nowadays.
Right. Marina, first up, I would like to take you back to the past, but to your early childhood days. I believe you were born in Brazil, and then you moved to New York soon after with your mother and your sister. Take us back to your childhood days. What were the early days in New York like for you?
Well, my early days in New York were, in the beginning when I first moved to New York and when I was 8 years old, things were very different than what it was when I was in Brazil. Within about 2 to 3 months when I moved to New York, my stepfather started to sexually abuse me, and that sexual abuse endured until I was 12 years old. And then right after, when I was 14, I met Jeffrey Epstein.
So you had to undergo abuse by your stepfather, and was your mother and were your sisters witness to it?
My mother did not know the beginning that my stepfather was abusing me. She did, however, found out when I was about 10 or 10 and a half. But with complications of being an immigrant and being scared financial-wise, being alone and a woman in New York, she never protected me and never went to the police, but somebody else did help me. And we did go to the police, and my stepfather was arrested when I was 12 years old.
Okay. Did you and your family have to undergo any sort of financial struggles when you were living in New York during your early days, especially at the time when your stepfather was arrested?
I couldn't hear the beginning. I'm sorry, you're breaking up.
Marina, if you can hear me, I was just asking, did you and your family have to undergo financial struggles? Were there hard days when your stepfather was arrested?
Yes, there were a lot of struggles. And I think in the beginning I was juggling between, working some, regular jobs. But what people sometimes misunderstand is that when you're an immigrant and you come from another country and you don't have a Social Security in America, you do not get paid what you're supposed to get paid. Not only that, I was 12 years old, 13 years old, 14, 15, 16, working at these places where they did not pay me correctly. And this is how I ended up in Jeffrey Epstein's hand at 14.
Okay, so you were 14 when you first met Jeffrey Epstein. I want you to describe for us, how did that first meeting go, and who is it that first introduced you to Jeffrey Epstein?
When I first met Jeffrey Epstein was through a Jane Doe who we cannot name. She is from Brazil as well, and everybody that lived in Astoria, Queens, and New York knew that I was going through this very hard time. And I think it was very easy for her to bring me to Jeffrey Epstein's house. And when I did go there, it was something that she explained to me in the beginning that it was something else, and then it ended up being something completely different. And she groomed me, he groomed me even more. I was in a very vulnerable state, and it ended up being really bad in the end.
Marina, not going into too many details, but I would like you to elaborate a bit, as much as you are comfortable with. If you can describe for us and for our audience, what happened when you walked into the Jeffrey Epstein household for the first time? You mentioned you were 14 years old. Do take us through, if you can just describe that day for us.
So that day that I went there, as being a young child at the time, it just seemed all very wow when you walk in. And, first when you reach to the door, you see this beautiful, huge door. It's a mansion in Manhattan, which, being 12 at the time, I didn't even know there were mansions that big in Manhattan. Walking through, this huge door and, the girl rang the doorbell. The maid approached the door, opened up the door for us. And when we walked in, I was so amazed and so wowed with how big and wealthy looking the house was. And we waited in the office, waiting room is what I like to say, and in the left-hand side of the house when you walk in. And on the right-hand side, later on I found out it was his camera room where he had all his videotaping going on throughout the house. And when we waited in the waiting room, I was so amazed by how many pictures, how many celebrities, how many politicians he had on his, bureau with all these, elite people. And at the time, being so young and being an immigrant, I did not know who everybody was. And the maid came back to get us, and we went to the elevator. And when we went up to the third floor, it opened up to the doors of a hallway which led into a massage room. And in that massage room, it was completely dark. Blackout shades. I mean, there was no windows because they were blacked out. And on the roof, on the ceiling of this massage room, they had these clouds as kind of to ease in and to make you comfortable. And in this room, he had a huge, bureau of all these lotions and, massage oils. And when we walked in, he asked for a massage, which I knew that was what I was going there for. And he asked me to do certain things that I was not expected to do. And those things were made me feel very uncomfortable. However, being in a situation where I was and being abused in the past, it made me very, very scared. I was not only sexually abused by my stepfather, it also became physical. And I got very scared at the time, and I ended up being manipulated into doing stuff that I didn't want to do, and it progressed into something very, very big at the time, very slowly, but it progressed something to be, rape at the end.
Okay. Who else was there at the time with you, Marina? Was it just the two of you? And did you ever get a chance to meet his very close associate who's been frequently named in this case, that is Ghislaine Maxwell?
In the beginning, it was just her and I. And I would say about a year and a half later, yes, I had encountered with Ghislaine Maxwell. We had a one-time encounter, and that is from what I remember.
And how many years of abuse did you have to endure from Jeffrey Epstein, if I may ask that very directly to you?
It started at the age of 14, and it ended in the age of 17 and a half, I'd say.
Okay, so that's about 3.5 years. And over the course of these 3.5 years, Marina, how many other such women did you meet at the Epstein household?
Many women, and I did not think they were getting abused. I thought, maybe Epstein was having, he always mentioned stuff about Victoria's Secret and, him having students. And I really thought it was just meetings that he was having with these young girls. And being young, I didn't know how old they were. And unfortunately, there were many, many girls that walked in through those doors. I must have seen at least over 100 girls just walking in and out of there.
What was the age of the youngest victim that you met at the Epstein household?
I have to say, I think I might have been the youngest one to know that I was young. I don't know personally anybody else younger than me. I'm pretty sure there was, but I did not get to meet them.
Okay. And Marina, I want to understand from you, the first time that you met the man, how was he like to have a conversation with? Because if somebody is, it's human nature. If somebody is, if his nature is very predatory, it is but our natural instinct to have our guards up. But when you walked into the household, did you feel any sort of discomfort? How was he like to speak to in person initially?
When he first met me, he was very kind. He was very polite. I did not think that it was going to progress to a point where he made sure that he owned everybody, including the government, including the president, including the banks. It was something in the beginning that I thought he was very kind. And then it became very quickly where I was owned by Jeffrey Epstein. And if we did not abide to his rules, there were certain, repercussions that we knew we were going to face. And he made sure that he would let us know about that.
Right. And Marina, at any point did you gather any sense that he was going to introduce you and many other victims and survivors like you to any of his other high-profile associates or friends, if I may use that term?
So, myself, he never told me he was going to introduce myself to any of his friends, but he did talk to a lot of high-profile people, Hollywood stars, politicians. And when he used to get massages, when I was there, he used to talk to them, a lot of them, and I will not name them, and he used to put us on the phone with them as well and brag that he was getting a massage by a nice young girl. And he would brag, and he would put us on the phone with them, and he would say, "Hey, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. We're here with Jeffrey," and that was basically it. But I never, I got to meet a few people, but I've never been abused by any of them, so I can't say any of that for myself.
Okay. And back home, back at home, Marina, for you, was your mother or any of your close confidants aware of what was unfolding at the Epstein household?
No, nobody knew. Family-wise, nobody knew. I think there was a lack of, protection and maybe motherhood from my mom. And I think when we were going through so many things, I don't think she really, I think her focus was more that my stepfather went to jail and we needed money. And I was bringing in a lot of money at the time, also having 2 jobs and seeing Jeffrey Epstein, which she did not know. And I don't think in her mind it crossed or even to ask where I was getting the money from. It was just more, here's the money, the bills are getting paid, everybody seems happy, my sister's taken care of, I'm taken care of, my mother's taken care of, the bills are taken care of, we have food. And I just think her motherly duties were not presented at the time.
Okay, and you mentioned that you encountered him till about when you were 17 and a half years old. How were you able to pull out of that situation?
It's not that I was able to pull out of it. Jeffrey Epstein was very upset when at the time, he seen that I was no longer a young, vulnerable girl, and I could no longer put on a act and, be his fun girl, is what he would like to say, or his good girl. And he quickly became very tired of me at that age. And my friends who also used to go there were at that age, and it was just no longer for us. We were no longer fun for him, and he quickly, booted us out and said, hey, you guys are getting kind of old and you're no fun, and I just really we're just not clicking anymore. And that's when our relationship ended.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Marina. That was very elaborate. But bringing you now to the present day and the entire controversy that's currently surrounding the Department of Justice, I want to know, what is it that you have to say from a survivor's perspective of the 300,000-page document that has now been released?
I have a lot to say of those 300,000 pages that are very repetitive. When we start to go into it, and it is redacted heavily. It is a slap not only in our faces, the survivors, but also in the public's eyes. The whole world has been waiting for today, and for yesterday, right, December 19th. And when these files came out and everybody's digging through them, everyone's like, what is going on here? There is nothing to see here. And then all the other distractions that President Trump did, he put his name in the Kennedy Center. He's bombing other places. It is too much things going on for us to worry about where his name is going, what he's doing to other countries, which is completely unfair to us and to the public. It is very sad to say. All the survivors are very disappointed. We are very angry. We're full of anxiety. We're full of emotions. We've been waiting for this day to come. And not only does he release files that already have been released, but he releases files fully redacted, protecting the elite, powerful men who are his friends, including himself. It is said and it is proven that his pictures were on Jeffrey Epstein's desk. And now when we go back to look at those pictures, those files are missing completely. It is what I like to say a circus show at this point. And it is something that President Trump and the DOJ has created. And we are going to find a way to end that, because as survivors, we will continue to fight not only for ourselves, but for this generation and the next generation to protect them.
Well, exactly, Marina, because that is something that I was going to come to next. One of the arguments that is now being put out by the House of Democrats is that a lot of the photographs which had President Trump on it, him being pictured with other high-profile names, and of course with Jeffrey Epstein, were released initially, but now they have suddenly gone missing from off records. So do you believe that there has been a consolidated attempt from the Department of Justice to cover this up?
Here in America, it is gone viral with that situation. He can try, DOJ, Pan Bondi, we don't know who is doing it. They can try to cover it up, but we know, and Instagram, TikTok, it is everywhere. People have caught the pictures. They have it on their on their saved photos, and there's nothing they can do now. And we know by the emails that there is a lot of people involved that he can try to hide, but it is not going to happen. We are going to bring this to light, and it is up to the public also to believe this. These pictures were there. They were there. They were taken away from the archives, and now it has disappeared, but we have saved them, and we will continue to post them on the internet, and it will continue to go viral.
Why do you think, Marina, President Trump has been shielded from this? Do you believe that there is political motive, or is it just to save image of the Trump administration? What do you have to say on that?
I have to say we don't care about anything about this political game and this political battleground that he has created. In the beginning, we were upset and we were like, oh my God, this became a Democratic Party, a Republican Party. And now in the end, being around both parties, they both have come together. And it is no longer a political battleground. He can say that it is a Democratic hoax, and he can say that we are a hoax, and he can say whatever he wants. But at the end of the day, I and we as survivors have been around both parties. It is no longer a political battleground. They've come together. We've seen the women Democratic and Republican caucus come together. What is something that we do not see when we see the House committee? They're always arguing, right? Like if you watch them, they're constantly going back and forth. This is the first time that these women have come together in one room and have been wanting to work together against this. And it is not only because of our abuse today, it is to save all the women who are going through abuse and who have gone through past abuse. This is why this was such an important movement. And of course it is that we want to get the files out there, but we want to make change for the future.
Right. So, Marina, is it safe to say that we've just hit the tip of the iceberg as far as the release of the Epstein files is concerned?
You know, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. We might have been hit the tip of the iceberg, but we hope that the next batch of files that come out, because we're always hopeful, you know, and some of these files, you know, like the important information that came out from Annie Farmer, which she has been saying for years, you know, for Maria Farmer, they have gone to the FBI in 1996. She has been going on live television telling everybody this. Nobody has believed her. And today or yesterday, people are so surprised by this. And we're like, wait a minute, did you think the survivor was making this serious accusation and not being honest about it? And if you didn't think she was honest about it, why didn't anybody investigate this sooner? Did we have to let the DOJ come out with this and then everybody's like so surprised about it? So at least some good things came out from this. And I'm glad to say that my survivor sister today is so proud and so happy that this has come to light. But it is also very, very another slap in the face, another move that, you know, the DOJ and the President Trump has disrespected us to not believe us for, you know, especially her who has been saying this and has vocalized this for a very long time. Yeah. So, you know, we're happy at the same time, but we are very disappointed. We are very angry with these files, and we will continue to fight. Nobody will stop us.
Right. My final question to you, Marina, is in terms of next course of action, as you were correctly mentioning, what is it that the survivor community is hoping from the government, from the DOJ, in providing complete closure to all the victims of Jeffrey Epstein?
You know, we have been going through, you know, myself, you know, for the past 2 days, I've been trying really hard to go through all these files and trying to put in some keywords. And we're very disappointed to say the least is all we asked was to redact our names. And that was not done. The DOJ, the justice system has failed us once again here. And they have, you know, disrespected all the victims that were leaked. And then not to redact the names that they were supposed to redact is another slap on the face. So we ask for the DOJ and whoever is in charge of this, because we no longer know who's in charge of this, because we think President Trump is in charge of this, but we know he's not redacting this, somebody's doing it for him. And then we think Pam Bondi is doing this, but we know somebody else is doing this. And we think Kash Patel is doing this, but then we know somebody's under him. So we ask whoever's in charge of this, please do your job right. Please look at us not as grown women, adult women, but look at us when we were children and we went through this. This is something very serious. We have these files out there with unredacted victims' names. It is absurd. They need to redact our names, and they need to unredact these powerful elite men who will continue to be a predator if we don't stop them.
Absolutely. Marina, we echo your sentiments over there, and we really do appreciate you coming out there, speaking your story, sharing your experience with the world, knowing that how difficult it might have been for you and for women like you at such a young age, and how triggering it may be, if I may use that word. But thank you so much for taking out the time and for speaking to Republic Media Network and sharing your story. We hope that your fight continues and reaches its logical conclusion. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and I really, really appreciate it. Protect your peace. Thank you.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
We are willing to put an end to this conflict via peaceful means based on the principles that I outlined in July last year when I spoke at the Foreign Ministry of Russia.
Putin squarely blamed Kyiv for the failure of peace negotiations, accusing Ukraine's leadership of refusing dialogue.
Statements from Zelensky that he is not prepared to discuss territory issues.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा, सबका राजा प्योर मसाला। प्लीज स्टॉप। झुमका, तेरा झुमका, तेरा झुमका।
नॉट देयर, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा।
तेरा झुमका।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे, केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ, 8 मिनट में तैयार। क्या टेस्ट है, सबका राजा हार्डकोर मसाला।
We
we just now felt this entire mountain shiver because there are blasts going on. As we were telling you, usually for the limestone mining, the acceptable range of the blast is around 1 meter. And that won't be so harsh that we could feel this entire mountain, feel shake. Yes, definitely. And the kind of, because for cement mining, they need a blast of a larger range of something around 50 meters or 60 meters. And when that happens,
This week on Get Me Right, 3 events that together signal a tectonic geopolitical shift in the world. The United States released its national security strategy paper. The UK, its intelligence and security report from the parliament. And amidst all this, China crossed, for the first time in world history for any nation, $1 trillion of trade surplus. And then the gas chamber that our national capital becomes every winter. Is there any hope, or are we condemned to live this forever? This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, only on Republic TV. Three events that together signal a tectonic geopolitical shift in the world. The United States released its national security strategy paper. The UK, its intelligence and security report from the parliament. And amidst all this, China crossed, for the first time in world history for any nation, $1 trillion of trade surplus. And then the gas chamber that our national capital becomes every winter. Is there any hope, or are we condemned to live this forever? This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, only on Republic TV.
Gentlemen, you're watching 6 Stories at 6 with me, Tanisha Avasthi. Let's get started with the agenda stories of the day. Starting this edition with the first top focus story that we're tracking on this edition. Ladies and gentlemen, today, a closed-door meeting was held between D.K. Shivakumar and K.N. Rajana, and this has sparked speculations yet again over the chief ministerial change in Karnataka. What is it all about? Take a look.
As the tussle for CM post rages on in Karnataka, Siddaramaya's close aide K.N. Rajanna's meeting with Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar has created quite a stir. The buzz is all about a possible shift in Karnataka's top post, with the state budget looming. D.K. Shivakumar's meeting with Rajanna, who has backed Siddaramaya, has added fuel to the fire. Deputy CM D.K. Shivakumar has maintained that he met Siddaramaya's close aide Rajanna out of friendship and party work.
ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಸೌಹಾರ್ದತೆ ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಭೇಟಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ನಾನು ಮಾತಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ ಇವತ್ತು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜನ ಫೋನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮ.
On the other hand, reacting to the visit, K.N. Rajanna said that D.K. Shivakumar had met him as the party president. Siddaramaya's aide Rajanna made it clear that there will be no change in his stance. No matter what D.K. Shivakumar tries, he will continue to support CM Siddaramaya.
ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವರು ಹೇಳಿದಾರಲ್ಲ, ಪದೇ ಪದೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಿನವರೆಗೂ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವ್ರು ಇರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಇರ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂತ ಸೇಮ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಈಗಲೂ ಅದೇ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ನಾನು ಇವಾಗಲೂ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯನವ್ರ ಪರನೇ.
ಡಿ.ಕೆ. ಶಿವಕುಮಾರ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು.
ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ, ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಲ್ಲ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ, ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೂ ಈವನ್ ಟುಡೇ ಐ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬೈ ದಟ್. ದರ್ ಇಸ್ ನೋ ಚೇಂಜ್.
The drama unfolds as D.K. Shivakumar insists an agreement on the leadership change exists, while Siddaramaiah continues to be in the denial mode. Meanwhile, Karnataka Home Minister Dr. G. Parmeshwara urged the High Command to resolve the crisis before the budget.
ನಾವು ಈಗ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟ್ ಹತ್ರ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಗೆಹರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ರಾಜ್ಯದ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಮುಂದೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡೋದು ಒಳ್ಳೆಯದು ಅಂತ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ನವರು ಆದಷ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ತಿಳಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಯಾವುದೂ ಗೊಂದಲ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು. ಈಗೇನು ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅವರೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಇವರೊಂದು ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಈ ರೀತಿಗಳು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾವೆ, ಅವು ಯಾವೂ ಕೂಡ ಬರದ ಹಾಗೆ ಬಡ್ಜೆಟನ್ನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವೇನು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ ಆ ಪ್ರಾಮಿಸ್ ಫುಲ್ಫಿಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೋಬೇಕು.
The infighting has raised concerns over Congress's prospects in Karnataka. With MLAs weighing in, the party's next move could decide the state's political future.
And now from Karnataka, let's tell you what's happening in the state of Bengal. A Bengali singer, her name is Lagnijita Chakrabarti. She has alleged that she was abused and nearly assaulted during a live concert in West Bengal after she refused to change her song choice. The incident took place on Saturday at a private school in East Mednapur. Here's what happened and here's how the singer has to respond on the case.
In a controversial incident in West Bengal, popular singer Lagnijita Chakrabarti was allegedly stopped from singing the devotional song Jago Ma by local TMC leader Mehboob Malik. The confrontation took place at a private school in Bhagwanpur, where Malik reportedly demanded secular songs and later even attempted to assault the artist. The singer, who rose to fame with the popular Bengali track Boshanto Eshe Gache, said that the incident occurred while she was performing the devotional song Jago Ma. Lagnijita Chakrabarti have sent a written complaint against the TMC leader and have demanded action by the Bengal police. She also alleged that TMC leader Mehboob Malik is a member of the school's governing body and tried to intimidate and beat her up on stage. The singer has also alleged that the officer in charge of the Bhagwanpur police station refused to file a case. A case has now been filed and Mehboob Malik is also in police custody. He has even claimed that Lagnijita Chakrabarti demanded extra money as there was a delay in giving her the stage for her performance. As we speak, no action has been taken against Mehboob Malik by TMC. The incident has sparked outrage among artists and cultural circles, with many calling for strict action against those who disrupt performances and threaten artistic freedom.
In Karnataka, ladies and gentlemen, a mentally challenged boy was brutally beaten and assaulted at a boarding school for children with special needs in the Navagar area of Bagalkot. The authorities have detained those responsible for the attack, why it happened and how far has the investigation reached, and what does the parents of the boy have to tell the media. Here's a report on that.
A shocking and disturbing video has emerged from Bagalkot, Karnataka, showing innocent, differently abled children being brutally beaten and tortured. The victims are students at a school for differently abled children. What was supposed to be a safe space for those kids became a place of torture. The horrific video reveals a school's management, a husband-wife duo and other staff members mercilessly thrashing the helpless children with a pipe and a belt. Even as one child collapsed to the ground, pinned down by a ruthless staff member, the brutal assault showed no mercy. Beating continued. In one of the videos, the woman was seen even throwing chili powder in one of the kids' eyes. The other children, traumatized by the gruesome scene unfolding before them, were forced to sit in silence, powerless to intervene. The woman you've seen on your screens is Anandi Hindulkar, the woman who brutally threw chili powder in one of the kids' eyes. In a shocking display of callousness, the person recording the incident is heard laughing as the boy writhed in agony. One of the students' parents have filed a complaint against the couple and an FIR has been registered by the police. The police have detained the couple responsible for the attack, along with 2 others linked to the school for questioning. The incident has raised serious concerns over safety and accountability of schools, which are meant for nurturing differently abled children.
And in now news from Maharashtra, the high-stakes local body battle in Maharashtra has ended in a one-sided verdict. The ruling Mahayuti alliance has stormed ahead, with the BJP emerging as the single largest party and the clear winner of the local body elections. The results underline a strong endorsement of Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis's leadership, while the Maha Vikas Aghadi has suffered a major setback with a dominant Mahayuti and a fractured opposition. The outcome sets the political tone ahead of the crucial BMC elections.
A high-stake battle between the ruling Mahayuti and Maha Vikas Aghadi (MVA) in Maharashtra's local body polls became one-sided at the end. Counting has ended and the numbers tell the story. A decisive win for the Mahayuti alliance and the BJP standing tall as the single biggest winner.
मी पहिल्यांदा महाराष्ट्राच्या जनतेचे आभार मानतो की महाराष्ट्राच्या जनतेने भारतीय जनता पक्षाला आणि आमच्या महायुतीला प्रचंड मोठं समर्थन दिलेलं आहे. आपल्याला कल्पना आहे की मी यापूर्वीच भाकीत केलं होतं की एकूण जे काही नगराध्यक्ष निवडून येतील त्यापैकी 75% हे महायुतीचे निवडून येतील. तशाच प्रकारचा कौल हा महाराष्ट्राच्या जनतेने दिलेला आहे आणि विशेषतः भारतीय जनता पार्टी हाच पहिल्या क्रमांकाचा पक्ष आहे हे देखील पुन्हा एकदा या ठिकाणी अधोरेखित झालेलं आहे.
The Maharashtra local body poll results have delivered a decisive mandate in favor of the BJP. Sweeping 129 of the 288 seats, the party has emerged as the single largest force, leaving its rivals far behind. Shinde's Shiv Sena won 51 seats, while the Ajit Pawar's NCP won 35 seats. Meanwhile, Maha Vikas Aghadi, who recently faced a setback after Congress dumped Uddhav Thackeray and Sharad Pawar, and was just limited to 51 seats out of 288. In which Uddhav's Shiv Sena won 9 and Sharad's NCP won just 7 seats. The numbers underscore a clear endorsement of BJP's leadership and mark a commanding show of strength across Maharashtra's civic bodies. Reacting to the results, Shiv Sena leader Eknath Shinde said the party has delivered a strong strike in the elections, calling it a big victory for the Sena.
अभी अभी चुनाव के नतीजे सामने आए हैं. इसमें शिवसेना का स्ट्राइक रेट जो है काफ़ी तगड़ा रहा है और जैसे लोकसभा में स्ट्राइक रेट था, विधानसभा में स्ट्राइक रेट था, वैसे ही ये स्थानीय जो चुनाव है नगर परिषद नगर पंचायत में शिवसेना ने बरकरार रखा है. लोगों ने शिवसेना का साथ दिया है और लाडली बहनों ने भी साथ दिया है, सब मतदाताओं ने साथ दिया है. शिवसेना कई लोग कहते थे कि शिवसेना सिर्फ ठाणे और मुंबई तक सीमित है, लेकिन अब चांदा से बांदा तक शिवसेना सभी घर घर में पहुंच गई है और शिवसेना को भारी जीत हासिल हुई है इस चुनाव में.
Meanwhile, Maharashtra Assembly Speaker Rahul Narvekar has hailed the BMC election results as a resounding endorsement of Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis's leadership.
आदरणीय मुख्यमंत्री देवेंद्र जी फडणवीस साहब के नेतृत्व में आज महाराष्ट्र में जो नगर पालिका नगर परिषद के चुनाव के निकष दिखाई दे रहे हैं, उससे ये स्पष्ट होता है कि उनका नेतृत्व पूरे महाराष्ट्र ने स्वीकारा हुआ है
और उनके नेतृत्व में भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने एक अभूतपूर्व और लैंडस्लाइड विक्ट्री प्राप्त की है। इतर पार्टियों के मुकाबले डबल से भी ज़्यादा सीटों पर विजय प्राप्त की है और ये अभूतपूर्व विजय भारतीय जनता पार्टी के ऊपर महाराष्ट्र की जनता के विश्वास का प्रतीक है।
A dominant Mahayuti, a resurgent BJP, and a fractured opposition. The results signal a strong vote of confidence in the ruling alliance's leadership, setting the tone for the upcoming BMC polls.
And now moving on, tensions have reached a breaking point in Chhattisgarh's Kanker district as a dispute over a burial escalated into a full-blown violent clash between two communities. Two churches were set on fire and several police officers, including a DIG and an SP, were left injured during the chaos. The administration has now clamped down with Section 144 to prevent further escalation. What happened and how it escalated? What is the current situation on ground? Here's the detailed report on that.
Tensions erupted in Chhattisgarh's Kanker district after a disagreement over a village elder's burial sparked a violent communal standoff.
नारा लगाते हुए, चिल्लाते हुए, बुढ़ाल पेलता सेवा सेवा ऐसा नाना प्रकार की रैली चिल्लाकर आने के बाद सीधा जो मरघट को तोड़फोड़ किए। तो जैसे मरघट को तोड़ना चालू किए, परंतु हमने एक भी शब्द कुछ नहीं कहा, परंतु इन्होंने उसके बाद उनको छोड़ के सीधा जहां हम आम पेड़ में बैठे थे वहां मारने के लिए आने के बाद हमारे लोगों को दौड़ा कर मारना चालू किए।
Alleged attempts to alter long-standing tribal burial practices ignited the fuse, culminating in a brutal clash between rival groups.
गांव में जो धर्मांतरण में ऐसे व्यक्तियों को मृत्यु होने पर जो दाह संस्कार हमारे गांव के नीति के साथ नहीं करते, इसका हमें विरोध है और इसी को हम कई बार दाह संस्कार करने नहीं दे रहे हैं। अगर हमारे समाज की रीति नीति, ग्राम की रीति नीति से अगर करते हैं तो हमें उसे कोई विरोध नहीं है, हम उसे सम्मान है, और नहीं करते तो हम काफ़ी विरोध भी कर रहे हैं और हमारे देवी देवताओं को संरक्षण और बचाना चाहते हैं।
Angry mobs targeted prayer halls and damaged private property as local police struggled to contain the mob. Top police officials, including the DIG and SP, were injured while trying to mediate between the ripped groups as stones rained down on them. In a dramatic turn, authorities exhumed the village elder's body for a post-mortem in a bid to pacify the villagers and probe the death. A massive police deployment is underway in North Bastar's tribal belt to prevent retaliatory attacks as the administration remains on high alert. While the situation is reported to be under control, surveillance has been stepped up across the district, with authorities keeping a hawk's eye on developments.
And now moving on to the story that we're tracking in this edition, Imran Khan has been hit with yet another massive setback. A Pakistan court has sentenced the former Prime Minister and his wife Bushra Bibi to 17 years in jail, each in the Toshakhana corruption case. The verdict has exploded into protest by the PTI workers out on the streets. Here's a detailed report on what's currently happening in Pakistan.
Fresh unrest has erupted on Pakistan's streets, with PTI workers protesting in Mansehra against the sentencing of former Prime Minister Imran Khan and his wife Bushra Bibi. A day earlier, a Pakistan court handed Imran Khan and Bushra Bibi 17 years in jail each in the Toshakhana corruption case. The court ruled that the couple illegally retained and sold state gifts, including expensive jewelry from the Saudi government, at prices far below the market value. The verdict was delivered from Adiala jail, where Khan is already lodged in multiple cases. The Toshakhana case has shadowed Imran Khan since 2021, with investigators alleging fraudulent declarations and illegal profits from state gifts meant for the treasury. The former PM has consistently denied wrongdoing, calling the charges fabricated and politically driven. However, this verdict has triggered fresh protests and a hardened stance by PTI workers. All eyes are now on how the party mobilizes and whether more unrest follows this explosive judgment.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of 6 Stories at 6. That's all that we could pack in this edition of the show. We will be back tomorrow, same time, with more agenda-setting news. Till then, keep watching Republic.
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
Amity has been ranked among the top universities globally for producing the most employable graduates by the Times Higher Education UK. Yet another testimony to Amity's excellent placement record.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद ये हित तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरे राजा। राजा और प्योर मसाला। ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला। सिप सिप जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप जीरा सिप MDH का जल जीरा सिप। Please stop। झुमका तेरा झुमका तेरा झुमका। Not there, मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा। तेरा झुमका।
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी। What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी, एवरीडे।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
We are
The Epstein Files Transparency Act's December's 19 deadline prompted the recent release of the Jeffrey Epstein Files, which disclosed a vast amount of information that connects the finance's personal life to his connections to most influential people in the world. Tens of thousands of pictures and papers are now visualizing what was once whispered in the deposition transcripts. The House Overnight Committee collected over 95,000 photos and documents from Epstein's estate, which served as a foundation for the recent revelations. Here are the Epstein Files, page number 1.
The recent release of the Jeffrey Epstein files, triggered by the December 19, 2025 deadline of the Epstein Files Transparency Act, has unveiled a massive trove of data that bridges the gap between the financier's private life and his proximity to the world's most powerful figures. What was once whispered in deposition transcripts is now being visualized through tens of thousands of images and documents. The backbone of the recent disclosures is a collection of approximately 95,000 photographs and documents obtained from Epstein's estate by the House Oversight Committee. While the Department of Justice, DOJ, began its mandated release on December 19th, House Democrats had already begun a drip feed of these materials. The files include estate photos, high-resolution images of Epstein's properties, including his Manhattan townhouse and his private island, Little St. James, photos of a dentist's office in his Caribbean home, BDSM equipment, and peculiar office decor, such as a chalkboard with words written on it, a commemorative book given to Epstein for his 50th birthday containing notes and signatures from various elites. The files contain visual confirmation of several high-profile connections that have been the subject of speculation for years. One significant image features former President Bill Clinton smiling alongside Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. The photo reportedly bears Clinton's signature in gold ink, though his representatives have long maintained he knew nothing of Epstein's crimes. Photos capture Bill Gates in social settings with Epstein, including one where he is seated with the financier and the former Prince Andrew. Another photo strangely showed Gates and Andrew together with King Charles, cropped out of the original frame. In a surprising intersection of worlds, filmmaker Woody Allen is seen in multiple photos, including one where he is conversing with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon at an Epstein-related social gathering. The files offer a nuanced examination of the relationship between Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, which spanned approximately 15 years before a falling out in 2004. Trump appears in at least 3 images from the new batch. One shows him at a Hawaiian-themed party surrounded by 6 women whose faces are redacted. Another shows him sitting with a woman on what appears to be an aircraft. Despite the provocative nature of the photos, investigators and journalists note that none of the images released thus far show Donald Trump engaging in illegal activity or provide smoking gun evidence of involvement in Epstein's sex trafficking ring. Despite the December 19th deadline, the release has been criticized for being incomplete. Huge swaths of the 95,000 photos remain unreleased to the public. The House Oversight Committee has stated it is redacting the faces of potential victims to protect their privacy. The Department of Justice released a partial batch on the deadline day, announcing that the remainder of the files would be released over several weeks. This has led to accusations of a cover-up from some lawmakers who argue the DOJ is violating the transparency law. The files have unearthed details that paint a picture of Jeffrey Epstein's obsessive need for leverage and his strange intellectual preoccupations. Photos of a landline phone at Epstein's island residence showed first names written on the speed dial, hinting at the immediacy of his access to powerful people. Some of the most personal images include Epstein in a bathtub and a selfie of the financier with a swollen lip, the context of which remains unknown. The release has turned into a partisan battleground. Democrats, led by Representative Robert Garcia, claim the files prove a White House cover-up. At the same time, the White House and Republican allies accuse Democrats of cherry-picking photos to create a false narrative against President Trump, noting that Trump himself signed the act to release these very files.
And in other news that we're tracking, the Raurkela police have busted a massive fake lottery syndicate. 4 men have been arrested, rupees 25 lakh cash has been seized, and a full counterfeit ticket printing setup has been recovered. Here's a report on that.
In a major crackdown, Raurkela police have busted a fake lottery racket operating under plant site police station limits. Acting on a tip-off, multiple raids were carried out across the city on December 20th. Police recovered counterfeit lottery tickets, incriminating material and Rs 25,37,260 rupees in cash. The accused were manufacturing fake lottery tickets and distributing them through agents across Rourkela. 4 men have been arrested in the case. Police seized 8 mobile phones, 5 notebooks, a desktop computer, printer and other material used to print the fake tickets. A case has been registered under sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and Lotteries Regulation Act. The police are now tracking other members of the network and probing the full extent of the racket.
This week on Get Me Right, 3 events that together signal a tectonic geopolitical shift in the world. The United States released its national security strategy paper. The UK, its intelligence and security report from the parliament. And amidst all this, China crossed, for the first time in world history for any nation, $1 trillion of trade surplus. And then the gas chamber that our national capital becomes every winter. Is there any hope, or are we condemned to live this forever? This weekend, Saturday and Sunday, only on Republic TV.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा, राजा और प्योर मसाला। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो, मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी। दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Not there. मेरा काउंटर टॉप टूट जाएगा.
मेरी चिमनी टूट जाएगी. What are you doing?
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता, उबालो, मिलाओ और खाओ.
8 मिनट में तैयार.
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा, आर प्योर मसाला.
Hi there, welcome back after a short, unavoidable break to your favorite deep dive show on stories contemporary and consequential for India. This week, the Parliament ended with moderate legislative success and lots of noise, like always. An issue that should have been center stage, the air emergency.